What's going on, guys? Apparently, this is breaking news. I did a video recently about Paul Pierce getting on IG Live with some Skrippers, and he's married, and people made a big deal out of it because he was at a poker game with friends and there were women there, right? That video went viral. I did a video on it. Well, a couple of days later, ESPN, according to TMZ and some other outlets, they have officially fired Paul Pierce, or quote unquote parted ways. But we all know this is ESPN's doing. Now I want y'all to this is the Disney's doing. But anyway, I want y'all to understand something. They want to take the moral ground when it comes to Paul Pierce. But look at all the other things they allow to slide on their network by their employees. Disney, this celebration of WAP that we see going on in mainstream media. But you mean to tell me that what he did was quote unquote egregious? He was off work. He wasn't on social media. Well, he was on social media. I'll take that back. But he filmed himself with a couple of ladies. Once again, we don't know his marital situation. But to me, I mean, if he had a morals clause, I can understand that. But this shows you, whenever men do things that goes against a moral code, we are held fully responsible for this. And we're going to have to pay the price for the things that we put out here. But when we'll be given chance after chance because that company don't want to be seen as being biased. I mean, look at the things that Disney's, especially over there at Lucasfilm, allow their employees to get away from. Look at the comic book industry or the gaming industry and what they allow their employees to get away with on social media. Same. But I guess because it fits the narrative, it's okay. But that's a whole nother subject. Let's talk about this. According to TMZ, Paul Pierce's run with ESPN is officially over. The network is parting ways with the ex-NBA superstar just days after Pierce posted a twerk session with some scantily clad women on Instagram. It's unclear if the video is the reason for Pierce's departure, but it drew a lot of attention over the weekend. Yeah, we had the moral police out. Once again, we have the moral police. Also worth noting, the timing of the move is interesting, especially since the NBA season is all but over. Pierce spent the past 3.5 years with the network, appearing on NBA Countdown and The Jump. The ex-Celtics forward seemingly addressed the split on Twitter just minutes ago, saying big things are coming soon. Stay tuned. Make sure you smile. Truth shall set you free. Let's play this video clip here. Honestly, I think Paul Pierce was ready to go, right? Because I don't know what it is. Maybe sometimes as a man, when you're in an environment that you don't mesh in, which I'm thinking that might be what it is. He might not have liked working there anyway. And he probably things had went on behind the scenes that no one knew in the media, that he kept to himself, that they kept to themselves. But I think this might have been the final straw. And a guy like Paul Pierce probably never really felt comfortable working in that corporate environment anyway, which is why he's probably okay with leaving. It probably ain't even that big deal. So I'm pretty sure he has money in the bank. I don't think he's hurting for money. And I'm sure he's going to be just fine. But that's my thing. A lot of these guys, they do go and they work for ESPN. They work for Fox. Maybe he's going to go to Fox. He might be more comfortable at Fox Sports. But to me, I just find it interesting how people want to take the moral high ground when it comes to men. Okay. But we have women all over social media showing any and everything, and no moral code is held to them like that. Right. And again, what Paul Pierce did on his IG Live may have been perceived as goofy. It may have been a situation that was unnecessary. Yes, he is married, but at the end of the day, it is up to him and his wife to deal with that particular situation. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It ain't got nothing to do with you. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. And it wasn't like Paul Pierce was in a debaucherous situation. There was a couple of women there who were probably there before he got there. Okay. He's trying to unwind in that environment. Again, we don't know what's going on in his personal life, but I think this was a situation that occurred because Paul Pierce was in a situation where he did not want to be there anymore. Let's see. Paul Pierce played 19 seasons in the NBA before joining ESPN. He has 10 time. He's a 10-time All-Star and won a title along Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett in 2008, and he was named NBA MVP in that particular Finals MVP. Excuse me. Once again, I just think that Paul Pierce did not want to be there anymore. Paul Pierce was ready to go, and a lot of times when you're working in that environment at ESPN, and I believe I said it in my video. When you are an athlete and you go work for these networks, you're on a shorter leash than anybody else. And I just find it funny how that video, I guess you know what I'm thinking? I think they told Paul Pierce to apologize, and Paul Pierce didn't apologize. And they said, oh, if you're not going to apologize, then, we're just going to fire you. And Paul Pierce was like, okay, I'm not going to sit there and apologize. What am I going to apologize for? If I'm apologizing to anybody, maybe my wife, but I didn't do anything. And Paul Pierce really didn't do anything. Paul Pierce was enjoying himself at this party. And look, we've seen worse than this, okay? We've seen worse than this. But I just find it funny how you have all these people with this moral high ground when it comes to Paul Pierce, but in other situations with other people, they always want to take the more high ground. Now, there's another element to this that came up. Rachel Nichols, who works on the same network, who does NBA coverage, she came up in the particular discussion as well. And there was some that did not like that. And there was another woman that said that, it was misogyny is the reason why Rachel Nichols is being brought into this situation. They want to blame misogyny. And that's why Rachel Nichols' name is trending. Once again, why do they bring these words up in regards to women unless they're trying to make it a man versus woman thing? I'm not doing that. But again, everybody trying to take this moral high ground all of a sudden when the mainstream media defends Cardi B. They promote her WAP song. They promote Meg Thee Stallion. Any female artist that is twerking and showing off her body, they promote that. But they want to have selective morality. What did Paul Pierce have to apologize for? You're going to fire him over him being in a video with scantily clad women? It's not like he was getting, lap dances from these females. They could have reprimanded him. They could have suspended him. They could have fined him. Why would you part ways with him? That just doesn't make any sense to me. But I think, once again, I believe Paul Pierce was ready to go, to be honest with you. I think Paul Pierce was ready to go. I think Paul Pierce was done with the network and he wanted to move on. Let's check out some of the comments. So ESPN part ways with Paul Pierce over having nude women on an Instagram live, but they release a magazine every year full of athletes who have nothing on. I don't get the societal double standards. This is bad, but Cardi B twerking and singing WAP gets her a Woman and Song of the Year awards and is said to be empowering. Isn't Paul Pierce just encouraging empowerment by having these young women dancing? Help me understand. Disney ESPN fired him because the women were too old. Jeez. Huge W for ESPN. America wins. So also there's another element as well. You got a lot of LeBron fans or stans that don't like Paul Pierce because he is critical, I guess, of LeBron James. And anybody who's critical of LeBron James has to go. If you're not kissing up to LeBron James and making excuses for him, you're the enemy. And Paul Pierce was somebody who was willing to call him out and willing to point out the fact that, you know, he was one of his biggest rivals. And you got people who are making fun of the fact that this man was let go from his job. A job that it seemed like he was ready to leave from. Paul Pierce, like, you know what? I'm not going to bend the knee. I'm not going to apologize. I have nothing to apologize for. I did what I did. So what? So what we going to do? We going to have a standoff here. So Paul Pierce decided to walk away. He decided to walk away and leave on his own terms. You heard it from Paul Pierce.